If you have some ambient noises in the background, like some small little dog that says, "Hi, I'm big and I got tattoos and going after everything," mute that puppy. And so we can carry on. Margaret Ann, over to you.
Okay, Bertie, thank you. I think that it's going to live stream. Anyways, so I'm just going to post into the chat, Connect Ottawa. We've been working on a new website and, well, not a new website, just a little few updates. So if you haven't visited lately, it might be a place to go. Connect Ottawa is actually about bringing people together. We have Tuesday keynote sessions. Thursday, we have VIP conversations. And we're now currently introducing our Connect Ottawa e-learning academy. So for those that are interested or have online courses, looking for a place to host them, might like to use a collaborative platform where you're working with a team, love to have a conversation with you. This is new. And so it's kind of like your ground floor, helping us break the platform. So, and we're all about team building. So doing this, it means that you're not doing it alone. You're actually doing it with a group of people that you get to know, like, and trust. So speaking about that, don't forget to put your chat information into the, your information into the chat, because this is also a mini networking event. So you want to take the time to reach out to somebody after this call, because that's what networking is all about. So on that note, we're going to go around and have everybody introduce themselves, give you 30 seconds, around 30 seconds to do that, and put your information in the chat. So, hey, Tanya, our very own VIP member, do you want to start us off?
Well, hello, Margaret Ann. Hi, everybody else. My name is Tanya Hughes. I have a company called Beyond Safety Compliance that really looks at the people side of your business, because a lot of businesses now are missing a lot of people. And so we need to start making sure that we pay attention to the culture in our businesses in order to keep a lot of the turnover that's happening in so many workplaces today. I have a webinar and a podcast. I'll have both of those in the chat, and nice to meet all of you.
Perfect. Thanks, Tanya. And how about Chris Sissons?
Hello, I'm Chris Sissons. My business is called Market Together. I'm a local marketing coach specializing in the use of stories for marketing and business development. I've run a podcast called Find, Tell, Share, which is the 3 disciplines of storytelling. And the latest episode, which has now appeared in the chat, features Willie Nicol, late of this parish, and you definitely would like to hear him, I'm sure. And you'll see all the other podcast episodes that we've done as well. And you can contact me on LinkedIn, Chris Sissons, Market Together.
Thank you, Chris. And Lynn.
Hi, I'm Lynn Tranchel. I've been helping business professionals achieve their goals for over 30 years. And now as a success coach, I help entrepreneurs solve problems to increase their profits, whether it's feeling like they have to do it all, or working too many Saturdays, or not feeling confident to ask for the amount that they deserve, or just not taking the right actions. I help you do less, earn more without sacrificing a thing.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Lynn. And Scott, great to have you back here.
Yeah, always perfect to hang out with you guys. So I am here in the city of Independence in Western Oregon. And so experts have published materials. They have books. So I work with expert coaches and consultants so they can publish their book, online course, and webinar in 12 weeks or less. Find me on LinkedIn and dscottsmith.com, and you can find my podcast there as well. Those episodes are 5 to 10 minutes.
Perfect. And I'm going there still, Scott. And Anna.
Well, hello, everybody. Missed you last week, but glad to be here this time. Looking forward to hear all about KS. I am in acquisitions, just forming a company, and we'll be starting off officially in a short time. And I also am a management consultant, where I am helping the executive team developing new directions for their strategic approaches into exploring new areas, new ways of moving about or growing business in something completely unrelated. So it's whatever they want to explore, I'll help them sort of fast track it. So that's the way it is. And I put my details in the chat, and please connect with me, and would love to have a one-to-one with you at any time. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. And Corey.
Hi, everybody. Nice to be here. I'm sorry about the lighting. I've got it turned around the wrong way here. Bernie and I are working together on a group called Whisper. We have a program that stands for We Heal in Safety, Peace, Empowerment, and Resilience. And what that is a program that began as an Ottawa Police women's safety program, and it's expanded into the world of First Nations. And that's what I'm doing right now. And speaking of chaos, that's what inspired me to join you today, just trying to juggle too many things all at once. So first of all, Bernie, my apologies for not getting back to you from the many networks you set up for us just before leaving last week. So appreciate it, and we'll be back on, and I'll introduce Peter.
I'm just tagging along with Corey here. I'm a retired high school teacher. I produce music, stem to stern, so basically do everything myself. And I'm doing a deep dive into sound healing right now. So I'm doing a lot of exploration, a lot of experiments, a lot of reading. And I want to create some material that will help people sleep and help people achieve a state of balance. And I'm part of Whisper.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us. And Alan.
Hello there. I'm Alan from the UK. I've spent 60 years in mindset, so my area is mindset coaching. My target area are people approaching retirement.
Great to have you, Alan. Thank you. Mayank.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Margaret, you're looking very beautiful. I'm not hitting on you, just a genuine compliment. Name's Mayank Sharma. I'm from Ottawa. I am a certified health and wellness coach, and my business is called MS Body Works. I've got good news that on the 22nd of August, I will be launching my website, a beautiful one with a .com. And then my podcast is also up on Spotify. I haven't announced yet. The trailer is up yet. That is also launching on the 22nd of August. It's because it's my mom's birthday. I like to do big things on her birthday. And my job is I make people fall in love with fitness. I train them, and I want to make sure that everybody's healthy. Because if everybody here is an entrepreneur, the first thing they need to consider is that they need to keep in shape, and then they can scale their businesses, you know? So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here, Mayank. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Ruth. Is it Ruth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Ruth Sermon. I'm from Ottawa, Canada. And I'm currently sitting in a long-term care home, hence the N95 mask. I'm a mediator by profession. I work primarily with executive level leaders and senior management teams to create healthy workplaces where people actually want to come to work and they don't want to leave.
I love it. Okay, thank you, Ruth. That's great. Great to have you here. Aynur?
Hello, everyone. I'm Aynur Günenç from Ottawa. I'm doing research at Carleton University and teaching at Carleton, and I'm going to teach Lambton College. I'm in transition from academia to industry, and I'm researching about which way I should go.
Okay, well, glad to have you here.
Okay, thank you.
And Bernie.
Hello, folks. My name is Bernie Fransgrove, Creative Insight Consultants. I just put in the chat some of my contact details. There's a podcast I'm a co-host on called The Property Wizard. It's about real estate. And if you want to invest in that space, understanding it. It talks about all the different elements. And with that said, I'm going to stop. And Corey, good to see you here. Scott and Lynn and Anna, Ruth, Tanya. It's like a regathering of old friends. It's great stuff. Margaret Ann, over to you.
You missed my name, Bernie. You missed my name. Man, come on.
My aunt, I'm hiding my body weight right now. I'm going, oh no, I haven't done my exercises yet.
I'm
A
just
rabbit hole to go down. Okay, so thanks a lot, everybody. I'm Margaret Ann. I'm a partner in Connect Ottawa Business People, which is part of this call that you are on right now. Again, we do Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm also partners with Unified Remote Work. So we have the tools and technologies to help businesses succeed. And that's anything from a website to an academy to host courses, everything to scale and market your business working together. On that note, I'll pass it over to Bernie to introduce our dynamic guest speaker, Rebecca.
Rebecca. Folks, here we have Rebecca. She's a connector, a teacher of entrepreneurial mindset, a business advisor, community builder, advocate for mental health. She is currently the founder of EntreLaunch, Frigo, and Adventure 42. She's completing her master's in public policy. Small feat, not. Rise, and she also is working with Rise as a business advisor. So her role is a business advisor inside Rise. Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of foul that up. EntreLaunch banner is what she's traveled with under being as a guest across the world as a lecturer. She's done it for Gen Moldova, G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance in 2014, the GEC Global Entrepreneur Congress, as well. She's been an attendee or even a workshop leader in those spaces. She's an organizer of events delivering Get in the Ring Ottawa, that's 2019. And she's done the Global Entrepreneurship Week in 2015. Rebecca's personal experiences with mental health have led her to develop programs that are designed to integrate mental health, wellness, and play into daily life. Her motto, thrive in chaos. With that said, over to you, Rebecca Palmer.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Bernie. I do need to update it, though. I am now a world record holder for the second time.
Ooh.
Yes, yes. And I believe you go by Scott, the person from Oregon. That's where
that's
the
me
world
here.
record in Portland. If you heard about the T-Rexes in Portland, that is a world record I now hold. The most T-Rexes at once. So to keep going, I guess we should dive right in, right?
Sounds good.
Okay. So bear with me. I'm just going to share my screen here, and then let's see if I can keep you engaged for the next half hour. Okay, if all worked well, you should be able to see that screen. Oh. Okay, so Thriving Chaos. Welcome to my talk. I recruited my team to make this lovely design. So if you do need some graphic works done, there's my little shout out for her. And thank you, Kira Nickel. Okay, so some of you may remember the battle between chaos and control. It's been discussed over and over in the classic sitcom Get Smart, starring Don Adams. Does anybody recall that show on this call? I feel there may be a few people here who also recognize Get Smart. And we're talking about the original version, not the new Dave Carell version. So Don Adams loved to address the issue of chaos and control in a comedic manner with the TV show. Over and over, we saw chaos attempt to win over control, but in many cases, it was combined effort that truly kept the balance together. Chaos keeps us on our toes. It makes us sharp. Without chaos, we become complacent. We stop looking to innovate, make change, or otherwise improve ourselves or our situations. How many of us have found ourselves in situations where we simply choose to go with the flow, avoid conflict, or just move through the motions? For some of us, this may be the preferred way of life. For others, and I bet most of the people on this call are like this, we seek the discomfort afforded by adventure, innovation, or change. So what does chaos mean to you? In your personal life, your professional life? We talk an awful lot about work-life balance, but what does that really mean? Can one clearly draw a line between work and life? No. At least I can't. For me, my family, my health is as vital as my work and the rest of my life. So to me, it's a work-life integration, not a work-life balance. Health, family, emergencies, they just don't fit easily into a category of control. The unexpected can be chaotic, but that doesn't mean you cannot thrive in it. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple types of chaos here. We have our healthy chaos, which is where I prefer to live. And then we have unhealthy chaos. So some of the things that chaos can bring when it's healthy: innovation. It gets those creative juices flowing and forces you to find solutions to problems you might not think about unless you're in that moment of chaos. It helps you engage in work and life. It gives you inspiration, as I mentioned. You get inspired by the need to overcome that chaos. There's that thrill of resolution. Wow, I got it. I finished my taxes. I did that complicated thing. I jumped off a cliff. You have that thrill of having accomplished it. Leadership development and new skill development and problem solving. There are so many other benefits to healthy chaos, but those are a couple of the key ones that I picked out. And then unhealthy chaos. When you're living in unhealthy chaos, you tend to burn out. And I'm sure a lot of us have been there where we're feeling a little bit fatigued. Maybe we're having a few health issues. And that's because the chaos that we are in is unhealthy. We might be losing the enjoyment in life or in work. We may even start being negative to people when we're normally positive people. And it can lead to an overall mental and physical health decline. So let me tell you a quick little story. Years ago, I was working for a law office. I was great at what I did. And for the most part, I liked the people I was working with. But we had one person who was very, very negative. And when you walked into the building, you could sort of feel the change. And when that person was away, it was different. The life of a law clerk, especially a real estate law clerk in the summer, is very, very busy. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of things going all over the place. And having that negative energy combined with the chaos led me to actually start crying in my car on the way to work. And that's when I knew that I had to do something else. I couldn't keep living in that unhealthy chaos. I had to find my way to move forward and thrive. So, controlled chaos. It's up to you to mitigate the risk to yourself and to others and help prevent that unhealthy chaos so all of us can thrive. If you notice yourself starting to be negative or not enjoying things, that might be a sign something needs to change. When you're in chaos, it helps to stay calm. Chaotic moments may also be tamed with laughter and even play. As Bernie mentioned earlier about singing, I often will burst into some weird song or even be known to start a minor dance party just in order to break up that chaos and break up the stress of something that is stressful. And you know what? It makes things more productive after you do that. You come back in your center. And yes, I do that even in the workplace. I did that on Zoom lessons for young entrepreneurs. It's something that it just keeps us going. Levity really breaks that chaos cycle. As I say, laughter is the best medicine. So many years ago, I quickly found that as a real estate law clerk, the Fridays in the summer were really chaotic. And that chaos was really beyond my control. There were delays from other law offices or from the bank. I'd have all my stuff ready on my end, but had to wait patiently. But for someone buying or selling a house and anxiously waiting to be told it was closed and they could move, it became a very chaotic day where all parties, the lawyers, the staff, the law clerks, and the clients are all having those heightened emotions and feeling that overwhelming chaos to try and get everything done in a finite amount of time. Because the land titles office, it had a hard closing of 5 p.m. You could not register a house closing after that time. So chaos is 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, still waiting for a bank to send the mortgage funds to your office. So you can then go to the bank, get checks certified, go to the other lawyer's office to exchange documents and checks, and then get the file registered by both parties. Not impossible, but very, very chaotic. Kindness and levity really helped us get through those days. Stress, anger, and negativity were useless to accomplish those tasks. All right, I'm scrolling the wrong way here. So what happens when you let chaos take control without balance? Feelings of anger, stress, and tension. You can react harshly to others. You become the negative person and add the negative energy to the room. And things can get done slower. You may not want to do them, or you may be avoiding it. And your mind can become overwhelmed. So the next slide, sorry, I'm clicking on the wrong things here. Whenever you're feeling a little overwhelmed or find things a little chaotic, take a moment to pause. It's time to reset. It's time to take stock and evaluate the best way forward. Next, we often forget the importance of breath. For those who practice mindfulness or meditation, breath work is not a new concept. For centuries, breath has been essential in moving through difficult situations, whether it is part of mastering a skill, acting in a precise manner, or childbirth. In addition to being a key way to gain oxygen, the way we breathe can help us calm our nerves and feel more centered. The fight or flight response in our brain becomes relaxed and allows us to focus on what is next instead of moving forward in a panicked manner, unsure of what lies ahead. So let's all take a second to breathe. Could I get everyone to close their eyes? I'm going to trust you all on this since I can't see you. So take a slow inhale, just inhale. Hold it for a second. Now exhale. Let it all out. Okay, now let's do that once more. Inhale slowly. Hold it for a moment. Now exhale. When you keep doing this, you'll feel your chest rise and fall and sense the beat of your heart. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Now open your eyes. How'd that feel? Okay. So in chaotic situations, especially when it's sudden chaos, and here I am running right back into the chaos after we calmed you down and recentered you. So we tend to act in that fight or flight mode. We act without thinking how our actions may affect future outcomes. By pausing, we are stopping that flight. Breathing allows us to recenter. Assessing allows us to take stock of the current situation and plan how best to move forward. The next key step is to take action. Start with the pause, then the breath, and then assess the situation. Your action doesn't have to be big. It can be as simple as a small step. You can either be in the whirlwind of chaos around you and run unknowingly towards a cliff, or you can stop. You can think and reevaluate the path. On a crazy day like the one I described in the office, I would pause. Then I would breathe. And then I would assess, what could I do to help the file get closed? Was there anything I could do to mitigate the future occurrences? There are always options. And for that particular moment of chaos, the best action for me was to calmly call the mortgage company, call the other lawyer's clerk to coordinate document exchange and funds, plan who within our office would do what, and look at alternatives, which often involved having the lawyer or another party call the other lawyer and real estate agents to arrange an unofficial closing where everything would be done except the final registration of the transfer. For those of you who have bought a house or sold a house, do you remember that anxious feeling at the end of the day when your moving truck is ready to go, you're paying for it by the hour, and you still don't have confirmation that your home has closed? Imagine that being a Friday night when your house is already being sold and everything is in the truck. Chaos can also be found in a much smaller scenario, such as a realization the day of a presentation that you prepared for a group of students in Moldova, that you've used references that they don't understand. For those of you who don't know where Moldova is, it's a small little country right in the arm of Ukraine. It's the second poorest country in Europe. So one of the big challenges when I teach abroad is that the students from the smaller cities in Moldova don't speak English. I don't speak Romanian or Russian, which are the languages that they would speak. Teaching there requires live translation, so I always prepare my slides in both languages, sometimes 3 languages. But sometimes I forget that that small country may not be able to relate to some of the examples I used. Things like Uber or skip the dishes, those are not things that a lot of students in Moldova are familiar with. They're not examples that really work to demonstrate a point. So what's my immediate reaction? Panic. I'm on a bus. I'm about 4 hours away from the town when I have to present. So I pause, and then I breathe, and then I assess. What can I do to modify it? Thanks to the internet, my smartphone, and my Moldovan colleagues, I'm able to quickly identify a replacement reference that is more relevant for my audience and quickly change a slide. I took action to control the chaos. And though we may not realize it, these same 4 steps can be used in ongoing chaos, otherwise known as life. It is only when we realize that we are experiencing unhealthy chaos that we can flip the narrative and move forward in health. So now you're going to have to get a little bit uncomfortable. It's part of breaking the cycle of unhealthy chaos and finding ways to thrive. Your comfort zone is what keeps you from taking the initiative to change. Some people feel they are rocking the boat. Others use the excuse of creating more work for themselves or just not being your role. Thriving in chaos will require work. It will require change. And it may require you to push the limits of your defined or understood role within the workplace, home, or in your community. The comfort zone's great. There's no chaos, or if there is, it really doesn't bother us, except it does. Staying inside the comfort zone can also mean that we are staying in an unhealthy, unproductive chaos. And we talked about that, not good. So the brave ones, they may just take a step into that getting uncomfortable zone. That's that little dotted area just inside the solid line. Just like making your way into a cold body of water, I'm sure that with summer, a lot of us have did just that. You may just put your foot in, but then jump back because it's cold and it doesn't feel comfortable. But if you can just take that final step, you push through that comfort zone and into an area where you will thrive, or in case of water, be a little cooler. And then you'll thrive in chaos, getting outside your comfort zone. You will experience where the magic happens. Being uncomfortable is a key part of thriving in chaos, as it means you are aware things may not be perfect, but that bit of chaos is necessary to fuel the change and allow you to thrive. So now that we are uncomfortable, and have recognized we're not thriving, it's time to complete the steps above. Pause, breathe, assess. Breathe with me. In, out, in, out. I want you to think of something causing chaos in your life. This can be at work, at home, or in any other setting. What is the root issue? What is causing that chaos? Why are you experiencing the chaos? And this is for both small bits of chaos and large bits of chaos. Chaos is what you define it as chaos for you. So now, is the chaos you're experiencing something you can influence or change? It may not be. It may not be easily changed because it may depend on other people. So the next step, once we have identified the root issue and why we're experiencing chaos, is to identify immediate solutions. What can you do at this very moment to start making change moving forward? These are the small steps you can take when you first recognize the problem. Essentially, it's triage. What is the current situation? Why is it a problem? Is it in your scope to make a change? Does it require an organizational change? Does making a change depend on someone or something else? It could depend on a husband or a child or that manager who works in another country. This can depend on the type of organization or the state of your personal life, who you live with, whether you have dependents. Organizational change can be one of the biggest challenges, especially in top-down leadership, where all the change is dictated from above and may not take into account how the process actually works. A senior manager may set out a task that does not logically make sense from the person carrying out the task. Change can be a little easier to implement if you are the person tasked with making the change. However, changes still require that buy-in from others who need to adapt. Think about how difficult it can be for someone to adapt to a new technology or change any habit. In the short term, it is also vital to consider workarounds. What can you do to bandage the problem? For example, what would you do if there is a power outage? The short-term solution is to conserve energy on battery-powered devices, avoid opening fridges or freezers, find emergency candles and flashlights, and secure anything that could be a danger. At least that's my first action. The same triage could also be used in short term to effectively manage chaos. As an on-site coordinator for Fireside Conference, short-term crisis management was key. On the second day of our outside event, we had over 400 entrepreneurs, tech people, and other business-minded people in attendance. And it was about to rain, not just a couple sprinkles, but serious rain. This particular event consisted of talks located throughout the summer camp. Crisis mode activated. The issue with the rain was figuring out how to direct people spread over several acres, outdoors over several acres, wooded acres at that, to get to a set location for a keynote. Phones didn't work. It was a disconnected event. And while a small handful of us, like 4 of us, had walkie-talkies, it still required quick thinking and rapid problem solving to identify where to move people for the talks and to find the speakers and get them in place. Not an easy task when the speakers could be located anywhere around the camp. As a team, we followed the pause, breathe, and assess steps to develop a strategy. Within minutes, our small team had engaged an action plan and mitigated the chaos. Now, a short-term strategy is vital for first steps and for acute crisis, much like a hospital triage. It assesses the initial situation but does not necessarily resolve the issue. The long-term strategy to thrive in chaos is to identify the key issues and strategize how to move forward. The short-term solutions have already fixed the immediate issue. Now what? Do you just leave it and hope that the Band-Aid stays? No. As previously mentioned, we need to assess the situation. What is my role in chaos? What changes or improvements can I make? Who needs to approve those changes? What are the potential issues in implementing changes? And those issues could be getting people to change a habit. It could be a financial issue. It could be a health or legal regulation. There are many issues, and those are things we also need to assess when we're making changes. So now, whether it is chaos at home or work, knowing the people, the problem, and your role is essential to the long-term resolution. It is also important to understand where you're willing to compromise or draw a line. If a satisfactory resolution cannot be found, it may be a sign to look at other ways to resolve the problem or chaos. In a work situation, this could be looking at a change in your current business model, a role change, or a change in employment for those who are employed by others. Depending on whether you own your business, work for others, or work with others, you may have a variety of options. You may also want to consider firing yourself. Delegate what you're not good at by outsourcing what you find chaotic. As appropriate, of course, because some things, as painful as they are, you may have to do them yourself. If you are the decision maker and the person who would implement a change, you need to take charge and lead the change. This includes an ongoing assessment of how others adapt to the change and tweaking the processes as required. Thriving in chaos is a lot like the entrepreneurial journey. It's not a straight line. The path to the finish line is full of twists and turns. You take one step forward and 5 steps back. Chaos exists everywhere, but it is up to us to determine whether we choose to survive or thrive, to expel negative energy, or to handle the chaos with levity and stop, to pause, breathe, and assess. The choice is truly up to you. So, thank you all for joining me today. I've put some of my information up here, as well as a picture of my own, not necessarily a chaotic moment, but getting outside my comfort zone. I literally jumped off a mountain, and this is the picture of it in Colombia. So thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions or would like to share something yourself, please let me know.
Perfect. Nice picture, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Yeah, free fall is always good as long as you have that parachute above you. You know, but I think the anxiety stays with you until you actually made landfall, right?
Actually, I didn't feel any anxiety as well at all. Did have a little vertigo because my guide wanted to spin around in constant circles.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Does anybody have any questions for Rebecca?
Well, I don't have a question, but I do want to say something that I don't think I totally agree that we cannot even live without chaos. Like if it's not chaotic, then it's a problem because you're not learning anything. But the graph or the picture where there was like one line as an entrepreneur all the way down to up. And then there was the other one that was like a little bit, you know, that picture. Can you pull up that picture?
This one?
Yeah, this one. So like, I might disagree on one thing. Like I know like business or life or personal growth is not a straight line. But the second picture here, to me, this is what confusion looks like. This is like, for example, if you're an entrepreneur, it will not be a straight line, but you're still going up. You're learning, you're going up, you're making connections, you're selling, you're going, you're learning, you're reading, you're watching videos and stuff. So it's still a line that goes like this, but this is what confusion looks like. You go all the way back because I don't think no one goes back. It's just either it's a lesson or either you're getting business or you're just learning something from that interaction or that sales interview where you were not able to cut the invoice. But like chaos is needed, but this is something, because this picture is a very common picture. You can see this picture on internet, some of the people that talk about it, that, life is not like straight line, but it's like all the way up and down. It is, but if you're like if you're all in, then it does not look like the second picture. It still looks straight line, but not as straight as the one in the first picture. That's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and I will say that this particular picture I borrowed from the internet because I could not find the one that I have. As far as the line goes, I think it depends on what business you're in as well, because I have certainly had businesses that went like this. And it wasn't that we were off course for growth. It's that opportunities would arise where you try something else. My first business was actually store fixtures and packaging. And at the time, we had just opened the business, and then the market was flooded with used store fixtures because Zeller's closed and another couple types of stores closed. So all of our business went to people who were buying this used fixtures instead. So that led us off on a different path before we came and found a different path forward. So there are times where you're going to go off the path, explore other options, and then come back to what was working, or come back to a different idea.
I also believe that market research is a big thing. Like, for example, if someone is, like today, the helicopter companies are out of the picture because we have drones, right? Like when I moved to Canada, at Walmart, literally the one on Baseline Road, that had 16 caches, easy, 16, 17 cash counters. Today, 2. Like the same Walmart today has 2 cash counters. And they used to have one self-checkout attendant, and the self-checkout area had maybe 5 counters. Today it has 40 counters, and they still have one self-checkout attendant. So the time is changing. So when it comes to business, I think we have to do the market research. Everything is going online. Like everything is moving onto the screen with the AI and with all that stuff coming in. So if someone is starting a business, I think research is very important, whether it's and also location. Like where are you starting the business? You cannot become a successful stockbroker in Saskatoon. You have to go to Wall Street. Like you have to also see where the business is. Like, for example, you want to become an actor. Probably that's not going to happen in Ottawa. You might have to go to Toronto, Vancouver, or LA.
You didn't know our friend Lisa Muser, who's putting through a pile of people with her talent agency. Rebecca, can I ask you to stop sharing your screen just so we can actually see everybody? That's it's a much easier, nicer way to have a conversation with everybody. And and you know what? I think it's a great point, Mayank. Different the way people maybe portray it is differently. I can definitely relate to chaos. And as I was sharing with Rebecca before the call, I actually have an acronym for that. So can help achieve overall success. So my reality is I'm always in a little bit of chaos. So I can definitely, good for my egg if yours was a little bit more straight. But my life, maybe it's as you get older. You have all these.
But who says you're old? Who's telling you?
No, I'm not saying I'm old. I'm much more wiser. And you know what? I think that as Rebecca was saying, as opportunities come and knock on the door, it might take you somewhere. And I'm always very open to what's happening around me, because I think when we take the time to sit back and breathe sometimes, it's interesting what comes to us that maybe we didn't see before, and it might take us on a different path. So Mayank, you started off as a physical trainer, and now you've got a website. I think you're doing a podcast, still probably you were going a bit like this, maybe. I'm just suggesting.
I had those milestones already planned, that once my business is organically grown to a point where I can have a website and I can put some stickers on the card and on the window and then do the all-in marketing game. And then I'm going to start a podcast, because you also need to learn a bit about people before you start a channel. You don't just start a podcast without even knowing how people operate. So that's what I did.
Cool.
So-
Thank you. So on that note, I'm just curious, is there anybody else here that has questions or comment? Anna, why don't you take that away?
Well, I will. First of all, I would just say if we didn't have cares, God, would life not be boring? That's the one thing. The other thing is, I think as an entrepreneur, you're used to developing in concise circles, overlapping circles, but you're always going forward somehow. These lines that you were shown on the chart is just a representative of trying to explore all the opportunities. They arise everywhere in all contexts. What's important, though, that it is within your focus area so that you're not taken completely by surprise by what's on the other side. It's not something you just jump on the train without analyzing. So it's but it's there, and it's important to keep your eyes open for these opportunities, because that can sometimes be where the real goal pot is rather than what you think it is. So it's very important. So that's just my take. Great to hear it. I just wonder, though, whether we actually can call it chaos or whether we should just say unplanned happenings.
Either way works for me. It's knowing how to work when life throws you a curveball. As for the chart for the entrepreneurship, there's a really good example of how things can go and take you down a different path and return you to a more of a focus. And that is how COVID affected restaurants. When COVID shut down restaurants, some of the restaurants were able to pivot to provide almost like an online market to provide food sales to people. And that was something that was a short-term solution, led them down a different path, and then they came back. Some places started ordering takeout only, and then decided, you know what, we're going to keep, apparently I can't talk. We're going to keep offering takeout only. So those are good examples of where you're still climbing, you're exploring something else, either because something in life or the universe has sent you off on a different path, and you may stay on that path, or you may come back to center and move forward, as many of the restaurants did.
Yeah.
So
and then that, even though that's still related though to the restaurant business, then there was the businesses that actually pivoted completely and went in unrelated areas, like the gin distilleries that started producing hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Brilliant, bloody brilliant. I really applaud that kind of attitude. Right.
It's proof we could make change happen and make it happen fast when we need to. So now it's up to all of us to do that and encourage others to be able to make those changes, to roll with the flow and to adapt to chaos and find a way to go through it.
I'm going to read Scott's quote here. It is the imperfections that make life interesting. I like that, Scott.
I have a question for Rebecca, because when she was talking about comfort zone and leaving it, because that's where the growth happens. You have to leave the comfort zone. And if you talk to a lot of people, because I do talk to a lot of people, and for me, the people that talk to me, leaving comfort zone for them is to actually start training, because that's my industry, right? Maybe you have something else. What do you think is the main reason for people not leaving their comfort zone? Why do you think they're so unwilling to leave, and they're like very comfy staying there? What do you think is the root cause of them not leaving the comfort zone?
Just because they don't want to get uncomfortable. There's so many reasons behind it. It could be any little thing. We end up with these self-perceived limitations, our limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs tell us that, oh, we can't do it, or oh, we'll do it tomorrow because we don't have time today, or I could sign up and start doing the training, but is it really going to make me get to where I want to be? So there's all these different reasons.
There are, because the problem is that they know what they should do. They know what they can do, but they don't do it. Like they know the answer. Everybody living on the planet, they know the solution to their problem. If it's fitness, they know once they start doing something, it's going to be better. When it comes to knowledge, they know that if they read books, they will get better. When it comes to money, they know if they talk to more people, they make more money. But still, people do not pursue that solution for some reason. They know what needs to be done, but they don't do it. That's the biggest problem these days.
Well, and my yank on that, I was making a comment too, is that it's up to the person. You see, it's not up to us to change them.
Yeah.
And so just because we think that's the solution and that's better and we can see the light does not necessarily mean that that person wants it. So if they're, whatever you want to say, comfortable, that's the way that's okay. The only person we can change is ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
we can provide tools to other people, we can share resources, but until you are ready to change yourself, it's not going to happen. And this logic flows not only in our personal health, but going into things like mental health.
Yeah.
Admitting you have depression, or maybe it's an alcohol problem, admitting that you're overwhelmed in your job. All those things we have to be ready to admit to ourselves and move forward. Oh, hi, Abby.
Okay, Abby's here. Now, Ruth has her hand up, so I'm going to let Ruth ask her question, and then we're going to be wrapping up this event. So, Ruth, go ahead.
It's more a comment than a question, and it's coming back to something that was said a minute ago about, people know what to do. I think it's important to recognize that if a particular way of doing things is something that is working for somebody, so whether or not it's working for everybody else in the organization, if it's working for them, there's going to have to be a compelling reason, something that they see to be important enough to get them to move from that way of doing things into looking at other ways of doing things. So you've got long-term employees who've always done something using one protocol, and then a new protocol comes in. You're going to get, most likely, some closet sabotage where people are just going to stick with the old protocol, not because it's better, not because it's it works and the other one doesn't work, but because it's familiar and they don't have to think about it. And so I think it's really important to recognize that when people are resisting making changes or resisting getting out of their comfort zone, you got to look really deep to figure out what is it that about the current situation that is working for them. And the other thing I wanted to comment that I wanted to make to what Rebecca was just saying about the mental health issues. I think as entrepreneurs, we are very reluctant to admit that we're having issues on a mental health level, because if you ever go to a conference of entrepreneurs and ask people how things are going, what do you get? Wonderful, best year I've ever had. Even if, they haven't had a contract in 10 months, even if things are falling apart, because there's something about saving face, about not getting a reputation for not doing well, or whatever it is that gets in our way. And that is a massively problematic dynamic in the entrepreneurial world, because most of us are armies of one where, at least at the leadership level, we may not have a lot of other people to rely on. And so if we're not willing to, or don't feel comfortable to talk about what's really going on, then we can be really isolated.
For sure.
Yeah.
That was actually the subject of my talk in Saudi Arabia in February, was mental health and the fact that entrepreneurs are really reluctant to be open about it or to share because of the stigma attached to it. And we need to reduce that stigma.
Perfect. Okay, I hate to interrupt this up because this is a great conversation, and couldn't agree more with your Ruth. That's a big advocate. If you want to get real, come on and join us on Thursdays from 12 to 1, because I really am about real conversations with real people, get real results. And the only way we're going to do that is breaking down these barriers and really understanding what trust is. Know, like, and trust. What does that mean? It means that I can come into a safe place and share how I feel and how I do. Rebecca, your talk on chaos was brilliant today. Thank you very much for joining us. Bernie, I'm kind of going to rush through. Bernie, you got a survey coming out right after this call for everybody.
5 minutes. So if you signed up, you obviously signed up, but if you said, hi, don't send me future messages, you will get the email, but not future messages. If you have signed up, wonderbar. Next Tuesday, how to attract clients with DIY videos. Vanessa Holding's doing that presentation. Welcome to show up. It's free to attend. And over to you, Margaret Ann.
Okay, perfect.
I almost forgot. Save the chat. Save the chat. Hit those 3 little dots.
And I guess I probably forgot to mention to Bernie, you don't actually need a promo code now to jump into the meeting on Thursday. You can actually just grab the link and join us for the month of August. So I'd love to connect with each of you on a bit deeper level and learn a little bit more about you. And Rebecca, that goes out to you as well. So thanks again for joining. Okay, you know what, Rebecca? What's the top 3 takeaways that you'd like to leave people with today?
I would say the top 3 takeaways is embrace chaos and use the tools. Pause, breathe, assess, and then take action. So I think that's 5 technically, but
no, that's 3.
I can't count.
We can do that into the 3. Thank you very much again. It was great to have you on the call. And thank you to all our attendees that came and participated. We look forward to seeing you at future events and have a great afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Rebecca.